All right, I'm the Flat Rate Master, and today we're doing a tool review and show you how to use the OTC hub grappler. All right, this has been a requested video for a long time, and unfortunately for me, it's time to do wheel bearings on my daughter's Honda. Quick little side note on the Honda, it's a 2001 Honda Accord, and I paid $1,500 for it with 100K on it. So, of course, did the 100K service, time of bell, all that stuff. She's been driving it for about a year. Got to do some maintenance. Did an oil change on it already. Wheel bearings are making noise, and before she starts going to dual enrollment, I got to put tires on it. So. My normal operating procedure is to slide hammer out the wheel hubs. Not always possible and can be difficult, but most cars it can be done. All right, a couple things to note on this particular car. Because of this suspension design with this fork, so it's real hard to get the CV axle out of the way. Most cars, you just pull the hub out enough to get the CV axle out, and then you can do all this on the car. But with this design, I find it's easier just to take the whole spindle out. Now, obviously, if you're up in the Rust Belt, your mileage may vary on getting ABS sensors out. Mine came out, so I'm good on that. Now for bearings, I know it's a little dark here, but for bearings, I'm using a Timken wheel bearing kit on one side and an SKF on the other. Unfortunately, I couldn't get two kits from the same supplier, and nobody had two. So both good products, I'm not worried about it, but it's a complete kit. Hub, axle nut, and wheel bearing. So for my purposes, it should go well. All right, so first things first, we got to get the snap ring out. And of course, I have to reverse my tool. Georgia. Okay, so little backstory. My daughter's Honda came in to do the wheel bearings, and the SKF box, the bag with the bearing in it, was open. Got it all assembled, and it was making noise. It was a red flag when I saw that open bag, but I'm like, it'll be fine. So had to tear it back down, and while I was worried, looking at the camera angle and all that, I dropped the Timken bearing. So had to go run and up to the local parts store. Nobody had a good bearing in stock. All they had was Chinese. So went ahead and installed it on camera, and yeah. So my plan was to do the other side on camera, fixing the video. Well, unfortunately, my daughter wrecked the Honda. So can't do the rest of the video, sorry. So hopefully it shows the installation. All right, now one thing I didn't show was pulling the bearing shell out of the hub using the tool. Now, how you normally do it is where it comes out, you put this cone to receive the bearing, and you put a backing that's approximately the size of the bearing, and you pull it out. So the bearing would be here, and with the forcing screw would push the bearing into the cup. That's not how I normally do it. Normally, I air hammer the bearing shell out. Takes the least amount of time, and other than 2 times, it has always been successful. The 2 times it didn't, the torch took care of it, got it out, put it all back together, no big deal. No, rust doesn't matter because it's a machined surface, and there's no rust in there because it's pressed fit. So rust doesn't matter. It may hang up on the lip a little bit, but air hammer will take care of that too. Or you can clean it up first. But that's how I normally pull them out, is with an air hammer. Now, unfortunately, I went through this whole spiel how I do that and forgot to hit record. So initially taking the bearing out, I did it with an air hammer, just like you'll see on the new bearing that I had to destroy to get out. I wasn't going to worry about a $50 bearing, while I'm on camera. I just wanted to get it out so I can get back to filming because I had to edit it. So, but that's how with the tool, you get it out. Now, normally if I use the tool, I start it with just plates like this, get it started, and then put the cup in, because if you don't, these can deform if you do. So thanks for watching. All right, back to the action. Well, you get to see the factory method of removing the hub, because yeah, gotta love bad parts. I knew when the bag was open I shouldn't have kept it. So what you do is you set these two arms against the hub and a smaller adapter behind the hub so it pulls it out. And there's my warranty. I knew when it was open I shouldn't have used it. So unfortunately my daughter gets only one bearing today. So I'll show you how I remove bearing races, and I did it off camera because I forgot to hit the record button, but this is how I normally remove bearing races. Let me get a little protection. Yeehaw. All right, well, let's try it again. So what you're doing is trying to find something that'll back it up without going into the bearing and that kind of stuff. And then you want a cup that is as big as you possibly can get. And then we're just going to use forcing screw to press it in. All right, so the forcing screw nut or forcing screw head is 1 inch. The other side of it is 1.25 inches. Now what I like to do is put a little fluid film just a little bit to help guide it in so it doesn't stick. Now I do keep a brass hammer for situations where it's kind of going a little cockeyed. You can tap it and get it moving right. All right, and then we go pressing. Oops. Helps you change the preset on the gun. And that's as hard as it is. Of course, Very important, don't forget your snap ring. Now for me in Georgia, I don't have rust, so I don't have to worry about, on this car by the way, on this car I don't have to worry about cleaning out the snap ring groove or anything like that. Now, when we do the hub, it's basically the same way except you want to support the back race of the bearing. Now I'm going to point out that it uses a tone ring on the CV axle, not a magnetic strip. Now if you're using a bearing with a magnetic strip, one will be silver in color, the other one will be some other color. That's the one with magnetic strip. Make sure you put it in right because it sucks to have to press it back out. Now, I should note, it comes with a manual to tell you what adapters to use. But I find, you've done it a few times, you figure it out. So now on this hub, it's got a cup on it with kind of a lip to allow you to kind of center it on the hub itself. Or you can just use a regular one like this and press it in. Come here. Now just like with the bearing, I put a little bit of fluid film on it just to, not gall it. And it's a matter of just hitting it till the tone changes. And that's how you do a wheel bearing when you don't have a bad one that's out of the box. Gotta love that. Hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Comments are always appreciated. And as always, thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.